Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Cup of Joe with Joe and Joe podcast. I'm your host Joe, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Joe.
Finally back, baby. It's the summertime season, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. We've been waiting.
Dude, it's been... How long has it been since Season 1? It's 3 years, at least?
It was the summertime of 2020 is when it kind of blew up. So I remember sitting in my basement and just binging the show. And then that's when we did I can't believe we talked about this show originally. That's crazy.
Oh, I was gonna preface this being like, now, same with Demon Slayer, we haven't talked about it, but you're right. Some of the OG videos that we did are on Jujutsu Kaisen. Don't watch them. Don't listen to them. They're bad. They're there for now, but they're bad.
For now.
Don't listen to the. We'll recap the first one again at another point in time. It doesn't. Okay, season 2 here, new beginnings, everyone. But yeah, so it's been few years since season 1 ended, and finally, MAPPA have come back to give us season 2. Getting right into it, episode 25. Joe, how did you like this?
I like it, man. I knew a little bit of what we were going into. I knew this was going to be doing a lot of prequel stuff. But the way they're setting it up, it seems like maybe this whole season is going to be prequel, which to me, I'm actually kind of here for it. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I don't think the whole season's going to be prequel stuff, but I am enjoying what we've been getting so far. We have not the original trio, but like the prequel trio of Satoru Gojo, beautiful eye boy, and then you have Suguru Geto, which I had to remind myself, I was like watching, I'm like, this is the bad guy in the first season, isn't it? And of course, in the beginning of the show, or this episode, you have the shot set up with, I think it's Geto saying, I'll never forget that day that changed everything or whatever, and you clearly have Gojo and Geto set up against each other.
Also, Joe, keep in mind, Zero, again, the movie that we went to see in theaters on opening day, pretty much at a theater to ourselves. The end of that set up Gojo is going to kill Geto. And they kind of leave it ambiguous about what happened, but obviously, since we see him in the future, he lets him live. So even at that point, something had happened that split them up. Because right now, they're like friends / like just classmate rivals, but like they get along.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Let's just go right into it at this point. Their outlooks on life are completely flipped from what we know of them to be. When they're having the basketball scene between each other, it's just like Gojo is saying like, the weak can't fend for themselves and they should all like go away sort of a thing. It's like, this life is for the strong. And then Geto is the one who's like, Jujutsu sorcerers are here to protect the weak. It should be like survival of the weakest, I think is like one of his lines. And I was like, what is this? This this is like topsy-turvy land. What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, it's definitely a bit strange, and what they're hinting at is that at some point there's this breaking point where something happens, and we don't know what it is yet, but that apparently is the big deal. And also, Joe, I'm not sure if you know this, but we're getting, I'm pretty sure, not just 12 episodes, we're getting like a 24, 25 episode season.
Yeah, so just like season 1, it ain't no Chainsaw Man, it ain't no half-core sort of a thing. It's like, no. You're getting a 20 episode run, baby, which I'm down for. I'm very down for.
Also, Joe, I really thought I was watching Chainsaw Man during this first episode. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, is this the Eternity Devil?
Yeah, okay. Let's get into that real quick, because there are two things in the very beginning of the episode that really do make you feel like, okay, there's a whole lot of wire crossing between MAPPA Productions going on here right now. I have their names written down again. Utahime, who is the student under a woman with white hair named Mei. They go in to investigate a haunted house, classic whatever setup sort of a thing. And of course, they enter an eternal hallway, and they do a little bit of fun explanation stuff where it's like, well, it's not a circle because, the pacing, every time we pass this marker, it's always a different number of steps to get to this thing. So it's like, oh, it's like laying tracks in front of the train sort of a thing. So if we run in opposite directions, it's going to mess up the curse barrier or whatever the hell this thing is, and it's going to break in and we're going to get free. That works. That concept, number 1, very similar to the Eternity Devil. I have no idea which came first in publication. But number 2, a lot of the animation techniques in this episode remind me a hell of a lot of the animation stuff that we saw in Chainsaw Man. Like, they have so many similarities, which makes sense because it's the same studio. But it's almost, I almost find it distracting. Where like there are segments where I think it's Urahime is clearly rotoscoped, so it's like they're drawing over the live action person or whatever, and it's just for like a single shot, and it's like what, why? It just looks so weird and like very oh crap, what is it? Have you seen like the old 1970s or 1980s, I don't remember what it was, Lord of the Rings movie that was animated, or the Hobbit movie? Yeah, it looks like that. And I'm like, what? Why did you do that? And again, it's one shot. It's not like an entire scene. It's just like, no. Just this one shot we wanted to make look much stranger than the other ones. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, visually, I really like it. It definitely looks way different than the first season. Would you agree?
So far, yes. I think it looks, I don't know if better is the right word, but there's a lot more fluidity with certain things. Granted, we haven't gotten to any of the major action scenes yet. But yeah, it's similar to Chainsaw Man Episode 1. This, which had a lot more like downtime stuff, a lot more fluid, a lot more, slice of life isn't the right term, but
I know but it's got like that matte finish almost to it, where
yes,
I would say it kind of falls into that Chainsaw Man visual category, where something like Bleach, that's a completely different category and style.
Bleach is like pop art, whereas this is like muted, and not like Chainsaw Man muted, but yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Noir. Noir maybe would be a good term. I don't know
that like noir is more shadowy and stuff, so I don't know if noir is the right term. It seems it's a bit more subdued at the moment than the first season, I guess, color wise.
Ooh, how about that opening though?
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that. Visuals, pretty nice. The song, I think it's really hard for them to beat the first OP, and especially I don't think the first the first ending would never be topped for me. Lost in Paradise, one of my favorite songs of all fucking time, period. So it's like the opening, it's solid. I don't think it's winning any awards, but for right now, it's good.
I'm gonna listen to it every time probably, and I love the visuals. Like, I like how Jujutsu Kaisen has a lot of the dark themes, but at the same time, like all of like the student sorcerers are like buddies, and I love the friendship aspect of it. Like again, that's like the cliche shonen stuff, but like they do a good job with it.
Two guys and a girl, baby. It's the formula that never breaks. And I don't know how they keep doing it.
It's right. You got the dark-haired, moody one. You got the funny-haired, goofy one, and then you have like the serious, short-haired, don't mess with me girl. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting.
Yeah,
it's just funny because okay, we always talk about how Jujutsu Kaisen wears its like influences on its sleeves, but I swear to God, if this follows like some. It's starting to feel like Naruto with Sasuke breaking apart and go following Orochimaru. I'm like, oh my God, that's what's gonna happen? Something like that.
It does seem that way. And then also the very like literal wearing the heart on the sleeve when Gojo starts comparing like events in the show to fucking Digimon.
Oh my God, Joe, I lost it. I was like, holy shit, I get what he's saying. That really simplified it.
I know this thing, Joe.
That was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it felt very, if we hadn't had in season 1 with the Yuji having the spinning above his head all like the Zanpakuto and like the Rasengan and like the Luffy hat and stuff like that, I would have been like, where did this come from? It's like, no, Jujutsu Kaisen is like, it's literally every shonen put into a blender, and then you take that liquid, you put it in a centrifuge, you spin it to get all the fat filler out, and you chuck that shit right into the garbage, and you're like, here you go, baby. Just a lean, mean shonen machine.
Sounds like those bio classes were really helpful.
Yeah, well, you know.
All right, Joe. So we hit a lot of the kind of like a lot of the fun points that I knew I wanted to talk about with you. The main storyline, though, kind of what they're setting up is that there's this girl. And basically, there's like Tengen-sama, that's his name, but I don't remember him from season 1 and kind of what his role is. I don't know if he was mentioned, but based off what I'm understanding, he's like kind of like the highest up of the sorcerers. And I don't even know how to explain it, but like his thing is he lives forever, but if he lives too long, it goes through evolution and he'll become something higher than humans. And basically, they're like, yeah, we don't want to risk that. And so he has to like find this one person that he has to then absorb, and then he comes back down and he's nice, young, and healthy.
Yeah.
Some people don't like that, and that's kind of where the story leads off.
Yeah. There's some like ethical questions where you're like, what? Does anyone get a say in this sort of a thing? It's like, who knows? But we kind of need his power to keep, like, you know, the Jujutsu schools working. That was like a reveal, because similar to you, I have no idea who this Tengen person is. I don't remember him being mentioned previously, but I'm like, okay, I guess there's a big sorcerer dude who every 500 years could evolve into a nebulous concept and lose himself. In the moment, the music, you better never let it, anyway. And the Star Vessel, I think is what they call her. And immediately, the principal is just like, all right, Gojo, Geto, we got a mission for you guys. Also, fuck you for not putting up a barrier. But anyway, you're going to redeem yourselves because you're going to go save this damsel. And they're like, oh, all right. And I love the disparity between the two of them, where you have Gojo just like chilling out. Again, very nonchalant, does not give a fuck about anything. He's like, nothing can touch me. And I love the little detail of him like crushing the can with just like, he doesn't close his hand. He puts his hand up and the can just crushes because he's using his ability. And I'm just like, whoa, that's really cool. And then you see Geto using all the curses that he has stored in himself, like when the explosion goes off when he's trying to get to the girl. And he's in the volleyball of curse energy or whatever it is. And then to follow her out the window, because, you know, she's been launched out the window, he uses like curse squids, impales them into the window so he can then smash through it with his body, and then uses like the stingray curse to fly over and catch her. I'm like,
so cool.
This is cool. Yeah. It's very cool to see like all these like little, the detail in their ability usage is very nice to see.
Also, when it's setting up a battle too, with Geto with someone else and Gojo with another person, but Gojo, he like all these knives start flying at him, and I can't tell if he stops it or the guy who's attacking him stops it. But one, it reminded me of the Yu-Gi-Oh card, 1,000 Knives. Look it up, looked exactly like it. And then second, the smack talk that Gojo gives, oof, to this man was so cool. I'm like, oh my god, I want to see this fight so bad.
He knows he is number one, and he is not afraid to confirm it. I cannot fucking wait to see what humbles this man. So let me preface this. I like season 1. You like season 1. I think you like season 1.
I really like season 1.
Yeah, you really love season 1. I thought it was pretty good, but I'm not like going, you know, like ass over tits for anything like that. This one feels like it has the potential to be something really interesting because, again, much like in Bleach or something like that, I love when they go back to like a couple decades before the current stuff and they contextualize things and they show you how everyone got to the places that they're at. As long as it's done really well, it can be something really special. And so for this, baby, I'm very excited to see what they have in store for something like that. But this episode leaves off just being like, hey, a couple of guys, they want to capture the Star Vessel so that she can't be used to reincarnate the guy, Tengen.
Yeah, so there's two groups. The Q group are sorcerers who went bad, or they have powers of some sort. And the other group is they worship Tengen-sama, but they don't have powers. And this is where we get introduced to a new character. If you're familiar at all with Jujutsu Kaisen, you get anything on social media or whatever, you've definitely seen this guy. And he's got a pretty cool design because this man is buff. He looks sick. But they do something cool where Senin, yeah, so they say that name, which, Joe, I hope you remember from the first season. My Senin, that family, is like, yup, okay. And she's one of my favorite characters. So I'm like, oh, cool. Like, we're getting like a past Senin. And then when he says, oh no, that was my old name. I took my wife's. It's Fushiguro. I was like, no fucking way. I'm like, I love this already.
Yeah, when we see that, and isn't his first name like Tojo or Toji, like similar to Toto?
I didn't pick up on that. I just picked up on the two last names. I was like, wait a minute, I know those are important.
Yeah, no, and so it's like, you have a character here, very buff man, got a nice little scar on the corner of his lip. He looks like a Fushiguro. Like, he's got the dark hair and everything. But apparently he's, like, actually blood related to or blood descended from the Senin family, or whatever, however you pronounce it. Doesn't matter. Either way, two incredibly badass last names to have. And I am eager to see if he is, like, direct father, or, like, an uncle, or I don't think a brother would be right here, but, like, it related somehow to either Mai or Fushiguro, or maybe both. I don't know. He looks crazy, though. Like, he looks like he's gonna run in and be like, all right, I'm gonna fuck some shit up now.
Yeah. He looks pretty badass, and I feel like that's going to be our big fight for the season. Is probably him, maybe against Gojo, maybe against Gojo and Geto. I don't know, but a lot of stuff set up. For one episode, it went quick. I gotta say, I was like, damn, I want more.
Yeah, same here. Anyway, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, it is finally here. Hope you guys are watching it, number 1. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Number 2, there is no number 3. That was a weird way to say it. But anyway, all that being said, everyone, always remember, we'll love you, we'll leave you, and goodbye.